guy checks all the boxes.
I don't give a darn what you got on, who you represent. And you don't even have to clap for us. I just need you in there. I just need you in there to see what we do. And that'll be a beautiful thing that we come together to support Mississippi. This is Mississippi versus Texas. Come on, you can't get up for that. Something's wrong with you. Something wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. C-A.
Oh, it has been a day. Woo! Oh, what fun it is to ride with my beautiful sweater. It's the wrap-up presented by Allstate. He's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz. This is Old Hat by now. You know what we're going to do. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to show you some of the best moments viral that you might have missed while you were watching some college football. We're going to wrap things up. We're also going to keep you updated on the game at hand. And, like, I should point out, like,
do the thing.
Like, the little scarf thing goes. It's got a little nose that sticks out. Like, this is quality. Like, Skubie always looks like $1 million bucks. I look like an idiot.
Put me on with your sweater guy because I like what you got. Mm-hmm.
You know, like a couple of days ago, it was a reindeer poop and peppermints. Now I got an actual scarf going across. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. What I do know is that it's obviously been a crazy day. It's been a chaotic day, and we have a ton to get to. Before we do any of that, though, we want to tell you about V-Week. We want to make sure that you know it's V-Week at ESPN, and our partnership with the V Foundation highlights the urgent need for cancer research and the elimination of racial disparities in cancer outcomes. You can learn more and help by support by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. You've heard this across all ESPN platforms. Before we get to any of the fun, wild craziness, we want to make sure you know, if you can right now, v.org/donate makes a difference. 100% of it goes directly to cancer research. Now, having said that, it's time to have a little bit of fun. Skubie, you ready to dive into everything?
Let's do it.
Let's do it the way we can only do on this show. Saturday Shoutouts. Oh, that is great. And we're going to get you some of the best action from around the... Oh, look at that. She's yelling at him. Like,
poor guy.
That's how you feel. That, like, this is me, that's Skubie, and this is basically every Saturday when I come in, like, 3,000 miles an hour, and Scubie's like, hold it down a little bit. Let's start with the timeliest stop. All right? The timeliest stop of the day. I think this one is pretty easy to know where we're going with this.
Turn it on!
We were screaming.
Faster!
He had it. He had it. Up and away. I got it. I got it. I don't got it.
He did not swiggity swooty and go for the booty.
He went for the booty, and he was denied at the goal line. He was like, he tried, and then they were like, no, not up in here. Not you, Fat Jesus. You stay out of the end zone. Huge win for Baylor as they win the Big 12. Again, we were laughing about it in the conference room because we both, the minute the play started, and I'm just going to be honest with you, a couple plays before that, I looked at Skubie, and I'm like, just let him score. Get back on the field. And Scubie's like, don't be a moron. They play defense. And I'm like, they're never going to stop him. Coming around the edge, I thought I had you, Skubie. I thought I was going to be the right guy in the room.
Honestly, the second he took that corner, it was like, he's got it. And then it was like, wait, it's a foot race. He doesn't have it. It was great. That's sports for you right there.
Skubie and I both play a lot of Madden. It felt like that guy that had no turbo left. Like you're pressing the button. You're like, no. It didn't happen. All right. Next up, let's get to best aim. This is Texas student William Austin on fire. Look at him go. The underhanded, like with such casual pace.
I mean, he won this one big time. And he's doing it one-handed. They usually do the chest pass in this.
Yeah.
My guy's hitting him with the floater.
He won $100,000, which he said he was going to use for medical school across the board today. I think we have the same reaction as many of you. Like, look at that reaction right there. Now, Skubie, I'm a grown man. In fact, I'll say it, I'm a grown-ass man. You give me $100,000 towards anything, I'm stripping my clothes off and I'm running through the parking lot like a moron. I'm probably going to get arrested if anybody hands me a free $100,000.
I don't know if they told them, like, hey, like, just keep it cool a little bit. Me, if I would have won, let's go. Like, I'm freaking out.
I wanted one kid that won $100,000 to grab the mic and scream, I'm going to Disney World. Like, I don't care what it is. Give me something, man. Yeah. I mean, like, I still say what we do is instead we just throw up the two Dr. Pepper things, throw out a bunch of footballs, and then you get a bunch of people that really want the 100K, and you spur on the moment, say, let's go. Because I want better reaction, kids. Work on that for next year. All right, next up, we have quickest quarterback, Levi Lewis, Louisiana. And he's putting on the hot sauce there. Woo!
You want to see some real speed?
I mean, that is just Frank's Red Hot right there, just going for it. Now, Swiggity Swooty, he did get the booty there.
Fast
Absolutely out of there. I mean, that's like a meteor just coming at it. It's a beautiful run by him.
Oh, my Lord. And then, you know, the quarterbacks that wear number 1 always have speed. I don't know. What's up with people who wear the number 1? They're just fast. Like, is there a requirement to have speed if you're wearing number 1?
No, you got to be saucy. Like, there's a certain level of sauce that comes with walking in the room. Like, if I come in the room and I'm asking for a jersey for an intramural football league that we're both playing in, right? The first thing I'm doing, I'm like, guys, I'll take whatever number you got. Like, that's why I'm going to get, like, 79. Like, somebody's going to hand me 79, and I'm supposed to be thankful for it. You are walking in, and you're just, like, ripping off your shirt, and you're like, I'm number 1. And we're all like, okay. Like, you got to have the swag to get 1.
He had the swag. Oh, that was cool, man. I love that.
All right, let's go next to best effort. Houston's kickoff tee retriever gets the award here. Look at this. He's going to get the tee. And, I mean, it's a job, right? But look at the sprint, and then, the dive.
Okay.
I'm not sure the dive was necessary. I'm not sure the dive made it any faster. But look at the legs getting back, too. Like, I mean, and then the tumble.
All I think of is like the 007 theme song. Dun, 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 dun. Like,
I mean, and dude gets like a 7.9 for style, and I'll give him a 9 for accuracy on the spin. I think that, I like that.
Yeah.
We're going to add this as a Madden rating. Okay, those are some of your shout-outs throughout the course of the day. Of course, we want to remind you can join us for the CFP All Access virtual experience. This is really cool. All you have to do is go to ESPN.com/CFP All Access to pre-register now. You can enter to win a trip to this year's national championship game in Indianapolis. I'm going to be there. Skubie's going to be there. A bunch of our digital friends are going to be there. We'll all hang out. So just get out there, ESPN.com/CFP All Access. All right, let's get you some highlights from the ACC championship game. Pitt taking on Wake Forest. You know this is going to be fireworks everywhere. Kenny Pickett scrambles.
This is messed up.
Look at this. And look at this. How can that be legal? He fakes the slide. He goes full Wilson Pickett. It's a ban. Look it up, kids. I mean,
don't start that as a trend, because if we faking slides, defense is going to get real mad.
Yeah, we faking slides, and defenses are going to start knocking people out. So, lots of points early. This game, 14-14, you see Sam Hartman, friend of the show, throws it up to Taylor Moore and makes a nice grab here. 26-yard tutty. Demon Deacons take the 21-14 lead at that point. He's like, yep, Mom, felt really good about that one. Mid-second quarter, 3rd and goal for Pitt. Jared Wade over the middle with the touchdown. 3 touchdown passes in the first half. 31-21 at the end of 3. 31-21, not a lot of surprise there. Although, you mentioned earlier when we picked this game on the last show, I picked Wake Forest just because I thought maybe they'd score on everybody. You did point out Pitt can play a little bit of defense, and that's apparently enough.
Yeah, and the thing about our record on the show, Fitz and I have the same percentage in terms of picking our teams this year. And this was the one that was going to differentiate. I'm about to take this dub for the year, Fitz.
Look, if there's anything we know, it's Wake Forest. They can score 21 points in 6 minutes if you let them. So I'm still confident. Wake Forest is like the antithesis of Iowa, right? Like, Iowa needs 17 years and 47 days to actually score 21 points. Wake Forest can do it all at once.
That's fact. But Pitt can play defense, and that's a reason why I picked them to win this game. And you see it here as they have the lead. 21 points for Wake Forest. That's actually a good job by the defense.
All right, let's move on next to Word on the Tweets. That's just well done.
Word on the tweets is.
Credit to the staff for figuring that out. Like, that's so much more clever than I could ever be. Word on the Tweets. We'll get you some of the best tweets from around the college football landscape. Let's start with friend of the show, Mike Golick Jr. Gojo nailed it with his tweet. Pylon cam on par with the wheel in terms of societal impact.
Man, the thing about Gojo is his tweets are always on par. Go ahead and give him a follow because the man doesn't miss.
I don't know how he does it either. Like, it's just natural to Mike's personality. He knows the clever thing to say all the time. And I sit there and I'm tweeting, I'm like, wow, what a play. That's all I got.
Damn, he just thought of something that quick, huh? 257 likes.
Yeah, but he's also right about that. Like, the pylon cam is a gift from the gods, like directly from the gods. So, well done by him. Let's get a little love in here next for the Iowa Buckeyes. Pat McAfee pointing it out. Someone just sent me this. I'm not there. Is it real? It was real. On the scoreboard, Michigan Wolverines versus the Iowa Buckeyes. I mean, maybe if Iowa had some of those offensive weapons, it would be helping them.
Yeah, because they're getting smacked 28-3 right now. Maybe somebody else had that last game in their mind still.
Maybe if they had the Buckeyes offense with them, it would help them right now in this point, because the Iowa defense has been a champ. They've tried. I mean, they've genuinely tried
everything that they could. Yeah.
It's not going well. Let's go next here. Talked about some great names on the show, obviously. We'll go next to this tweet about Bryce Young is destroying Georgia's historically elite defense. A Heisman performance, win or lose.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
I don't have any problem with that. Adam Rittenberg with that take. You right with that?
That's big facts. Especially, during the Heisman performances, you always have this Heisman caliber play. And I think that one play when Bryce Young avoided pressure and then he was running down the field, didn't even see the guy behind him, was just like, oh, here. He just pitched it back. Incredible. Almost kind of Caleb Williams-esque of that Kansas play.
Every Heisman winner's had a signature moment and a signature game. Bryce Young had a ton of those in this one game.
Multiple.
And we can't talk out of both sides of our mouth. We can't today say that the Georgia defense was overrated when 24 hours ago we were telling you it's historic. We can't change the narrative. So huge, huge, huge win for him. Let's see what we've got next. Stetson Bennett IV and Ladd McConkey are the Scottish rugby players. I like that, actually. We're in this? Ladd McConkey, Stetson Bennett IV. I mean, the fourth part of the Stetson Bennett name is like, that's where it gets a little stuffy. Stetson Bennett IV.
The fourth.
It does. There is a real question happening in Georgia.
I respect it. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. The fourth. I am the fourth of the third.
Of the Stetson Bennetts. I mean, I think Georgia fans right now are asking for, no more Stetson Bennett, and JT Daniels is suddenly back in the conversation, and that's what happens when you get your butt whooped by Bama.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett. I said it in Sports Nation. Last time he went against Alabama, 3 interceptions. In this game, he had 2, and one of them was a pick 6. So, JT, where he at, dude?
Yeah, the real question about why he didn't get any time in here. Joey Molinaro getting a little love next. Always love Joey's work. Let's see what he... Nick Saban is using dark science and secrets of the Sith to live on forever, like Emperor Palpatine. Still be winning in 2054. I don't think he's wrong about that. Like, I'm just done trying to figure out when Alabama's not going to make the college football playoff. I mean, we went in 24 hours. We went from Bama's not going to I went from Bama's not going to make the college football playoff because they're going to get rolled by Georgia, which is going to leave them out, to now having a very reasonable conversation that we'll have in a little bit about whether or not they should be the #1 seed. Like, what the hell's happening? Like, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. Oh, man. Listen, we got to respect the GOAT. Nick Saban is Bill Belichick-esque in his I can't talk today. Post-game press conference, he said that rat poison that the media has been feeding us, it's yummy. AKA, he loves all that talk that you were given and everyone else on Georgia's defense shutting them down. He lives for that.
Yeah, the real question is going to be if Georgia and Bama play in the playoffs, how many of us are going to be saucy in that one? Like, I no longer know what to expect. I'm still stunned. I'm still shooketh by what we saw today, obviously. Yeah, I'm going with the King's
Jason
English.
Fitz the fourth.
Yes, Jason Fitz the fourth is shooketh by what he saw today. I don't know what I'm expecting anymore. It is time for Couch Conversations, presented by Dr. Pepper. Scooby, we need to bring in some expertise. I don't think I could have been.
That's a good idea.
I couldn't have been any more wrong about the SEC championship game. So let's bring in somebody that can help me figure out what the hell I was thinking. Chris Doering, SEC analyst, joins us now. Obviously, you have great history with the conference anyway. You were there at the game today. What did we all miss in this one?
Well, I wish I could say that I was on the other side of this, but I was equally as wrong as you were. I had no idea that the game was going to turn out the way that it did. I mean, it was a complete shock to me, given what we'd seen from Georgia all year long and how consistent they had been, how well-rounded they had looked. And then looking at the pieces that were seemingly missing from this Alabama team. Offensive line was miserable, particularly last week against Auburn, giving up 7 sacks. Today, they gave up 0 sacks. Bryce Young, in that second quarter, 248 yards throwing the football. He was incredibly efficient on third down. They hit an explosive play after explosive play against this Georgia defense. It was just everything different than we had seen all year long from this Georgia Bulldogs team, who had been lights out defensively to this point.
Yeah, and you mentioned Bryce Young. 421 yards passing. That's an SEC championship record. And I spoke to you earlier on this week on the Heisman Show, which me and Christine Williamson do every week. And we will have one on Saturday. I'm doing a Fitz plug-in real quick. Yeah. But we spoke about who is the Heisman favorite. Bryce Young was your favorite at that time. Did he secure it with this performance?
Oh, he definitely did. I mean, this was his Heisman to lose. And he went out there and made sure he won that thing in the second quarter particularly. I mean, this was the biggest stage against the biggest test that he had all season long. And I didn't know if he'd be able to have the time to throw the football consistently. But, again, I got to go back to what that offensive line was able to do today against a really intense pass rush that we typically see from Georgia was just not impactful at all. And then his calm, cool presence, the way he directs his players, the way that he's able to scramble and buy time for his receivers to uncover, far exceeded what I expected from the first-year starter that was hyped up a bunch coming out of high school, but really hadn't had much opportunity to play. This guy delivered and went above even my wildest of expectations for him.
So, Chris, I'm going to ask you a two-part question. First here, did you see anything, because we're talking about this Georgia defense that didn't really get anything done. Did you see anything schematically from Alabama that they didn't expect?
You know, I'm looking forward to getting back and watching the tape a little bit more. I was on the sidelines today, so I didn't get a chance to get a great view from up above. But I did see a lot of the quick passing and some of the things that I didn't expect to see were the yards after the catch. I mean, Alabama was able to turn a lot of these quick pass receptions into big gains. Georgia had been fantastic in tackling in the open field up to this point in time. But you saw when the receivers and backs got the ball on the edge, they were physical with some of those corners, breaking tackles, stiff-arming guys. So, I think they really wanted to not put the quarterback in a tough position of having to be in the pocket, dropping back, holding the football for a long period of time. That certainly helped with what the offensive line was able to do in minimizing that pass rush. But I just was really impressed with this receiving core, particularly after, John Mechie unfortunately went down with that knee injury. You saw Slade Bolden step up, make a big catch on third down late. Alabama as a whole, the third down passing was just unbelievable from Bryce Young. I think he converted 5 third downs with his arm today. Just incredible recognition and accuracy on third down particularly.
So let me get the cart in front of the horse then. If these two teams meet again, if the playoff committee decides to make them 2-3, if these two teams meet again, is this correctable for Georgia?
Yeah, I can't believe that this would be another instance where they would go out and get beaten this soundly. They may get beaten again by Alabama at some point in time, whether it's the semis or whether it's the finals, but I have a hard time believing it would be this big of a beatdown. It was I really was surprised to see them give up that 10-point lead to start the way that they did. They did leave some points on the field when they got down to the red zone a couple times, but to see them build that lead and then ultimately let Alabama come back with some explosive plays was really surprising to me. And this is an offense that we had talked about for Georgia that we were really concerned about how they would react when they play from behind. We finally got to see that today, and they look like they are just a little bit limited in what they can do. I'm interested to see what happens at the quarterback position. A lot of people wanted to see JT Daniels in there. Is this loss something that will potentially spur an opportunity for JT Daniels to get back in the lineup?
Chris, man, we appreciate your time. You've had a long day doing all this. Thanks for hanging out with us, my friend. Thanks for the expertise. Stay safe. Travel home.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me again.
Oh, you know what time it is, Skubie. It's time for the All-State Playoff Predictor. Are you ready? Now, we had Champ Weekend, obviously, and so we have to figure out, according to the All-State Playoff Predictor, what we think the college football playoff rankings are going to look like. By the way, rankings reaction tomorrow right here, 1 p.m. Eastern, with me, Mike Golick Jr. and Christine Williamson. So this could get a little bit questionable, right? So where are you on the number 1 team in all the land? Alabama gets the big win. Michigan was number 2. Do they vault to number 1, or does Alabama do the whoop leapfrog?
Well, we're going to go with the whoop leapfrog, because Alabama beat the number 1 team in the country, and they just didn't beat them. They dominated them. They beat them in a fashion that nobody else expected, except your boy, because I called that. But at the end of the day, Alabama went against the number 1 defense in the entire country, one that had a historical season. They're averaging less than a touchdown per game, and they put up a 40-piece on them. Bama got to be number 1.
So let me be a troll for a second. I'm going to put Michigan at number 1.
I thought you were. Whoa.
I'm going to be a troll. Here's why I'm going to put Michigan at number 1. You got 2 one-loss teams. Michigan has an epic, huge win over Ohio State, who was number 2 at the time. So Bama gets the epic, huge win over number 1, Georgia. I'll give you that. That's obviously better. I keep looking at the losses, right? So Alabama's loss is to Texas A&M, right? That's a bad loss comparatively to Michigan, who has a loss to last week's number 11 team in Michigan State. So I think Michigan State's loss is just a little bit better, and it gives Michigan the opportunity to be at number 1, which means I'm going to put Bama at number 2, and I'm presuming you're going to put Michigan at 2?
Yes, sir. Okay. Michigan definitely deserves the number 2 spot. They haven't done too much to be like, let me put them at number 1, but number 2 is still a great position for them, and I think they're a great football team.
So then we get to number 3, because I think Georgia is likely to fall to number 3 would make sense, right? Are you with me on that? We both put Georgia at 3. Now, this is where the conspiracy theories get a little bit interesting, because I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but as we all know, everybody talks about what the committee considers. I'm wondering, even if I look at my own rankings, is the committee going to want another Alabama-Georgia matchup on New Year's Eve? Because, I mean, I could see where that could be a great draw, or it could also be lesser than. Are we both putting Cincinnati at 4? I'm putting Cincinnati at 4.
Yeah.
So then it really becomes a question of, do they want Michigan versus Georgia in the first round and Alabama versus Cincinnati, or do they go Michigan-Cincinnati and then give us Alabama-Georgia right away? I don't know if the committee even really considers it. I want to believe they don't, but
I would like to see them take a little bit of a break from each other to make them go back-to-back like that so quickly. It's not going to be the best. No, I don't want to see it. I don't know about the people at home watching right now. I would like to see them rematch it up and run it back in the championship game if they're both able to make it back, which is why I have my top 4 as such.
And by the way, we can now, in this top 4, both agree that the Big 12 champion Baylor not getting in, a group of 5 schools, Cincinnati not getting in, Michigan getting in. Like, this is a far different playoff than we're used to seeing. So I love the spontaneity. I think you're probably right. By the time it's all said and done, Alabama probably goes number 1, but I think the committee could do it either way. What I know is that you should check out Rankings Reaction tomorrow and see how right either Skubie or I am.
And it's going to be a good time.
You never know who's going to stop by. It's time to get fancy like the wrap-up. Joining us, viral country star, I should say, Alabama native Walker Hayes. Now, Walker, let's start with the real here. Like, you took your family to the game, so we're interrupting your post-game celebration time. Like, what was the experience like for the fam?
Unreal, man. My kids. So we went to the Auburn game last week, and that was the greatest night of their life. And then they all agree now that this is, in fact, the greatest night of their life. We just had our post-game celebratory pancakes at a diner down the road, man, and they're jacked. I don't know if we're ever going to go to bed, man. And, of course, they all want to go to Bama now. You know, they're like, I'm going to school there for sure.
Yeah, hey, I was one of the few people around here that said Bama was going to win this game.
He's right. I didn't call it.
I just felt it. I had a good feeling about it. But we also have a good feeling about your song. You know, it's huge on TikTok. It's just been killing it. I mean, we're curious. Did you know about TikTok before all this blew up on TikTok?
No, dude, and now I'm just riding that wave. I mean, I've had some people have called me the TikTok king, which is pretty hilarious because prior to the song, guys, I didn't have any followers at all, like really minimal followers. But man, we just actually released a new song called AA that drops Nick Saban in it, and so these past 2 games, I was like, man, he better keep winning so this song, you know, will do great, but. Yeah, but man, the TikTok thing has been awesome. Going to these games is crazy. People walk up, they're like, hey, can we get a picture and all that good stuff. And man, I just appreciate the fans so much. And TikTok's done wonders for us.
Well, so let us stir the pot though, because you were on the Alabama playlist and then you were off the Alabama playlist. Like, have you talked to Coach about this? Like, have we had like a word about putting it back on?
Look, man, I'm not going to lie. That hurt my feelings a little bit. But, if you notice Bama's season, right after they took it off, they didn't do so hot. I mean, they had a couple games where they were hurting. And then me and the fam showed up. So maybe they'll learn, man. Maybe next season it'll be different. But, man, I I don't take any of that personally. And I've even had diehards be like, dude, sorry we took you off the playlist, you know, and all that stuff. And I'm like, hey, do what you got to do, man.
Just keep winning, baby.
But you know, I always like to make like comparisons between music and sports, right? So like one thing Alabama knows about is continued success and the pressure that comes every single year. You mentioned you got another single out, and you're constantly putting out new music. Do you feel pressure coming after the success of Fancy Like, trying to live up to that?
Oh, yeah. I have to taper my expectations, keep them realistic. Because, you know, dude, let's be honest. I'm probably never going to do Fancy Like again. You know, I'll never experience that viral action. I'll never be new again, you know. And so I really just have to love whatever I put out next, which I have. And I've been pleased with how it feels, you know. And another cool thing, man, that's been great about Fancy Like is it made my audience massive. Wow. And so when I release a song now, I'm not just releasing it to 100,000 fans. I'm releasing it to millions. And dude, it's really been incredible for my career. So I love Fancy Like again, and never assume I'll ever taste that victory again. But yeah, now we got to stay on top.
Yes,
sir.
Know?
Man, if there's anything I know in our talk, like I'll tell everybody this, Fancy Like is part of your story. I would implore everybody to go check out everything that Walker's doing. Your story is amazing, dude. You know I love it. Give us a good roll tide, man. Give us your best roll tide.
Come on, roll!
Let's go!
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Walker, enjoy your night. Enjoy your pancakes. Thanks for hanging out with us, my friend.
See y'all. Thank you so much.
Oh, good work by him. And, you know, congratulations, because Walker's a great dude. He's in much better shape at the end of a game like that than I would be. By the way, Michigan has just scored a touchdown. They're up 34-3 pending the extra point. So that's going about the way we thought it would go. Now, the season for the college football season has come to an end. That means that this is our last edition of the wrap-up presented by Allstate. So, Skubie, what's your favorite moment from this season?
I gotta say, even though it has your name, it's the Fitzenary. It was a good time doing that, playing those games. Incredible job by our producer, Madison, putting that together. She had little cutouts and even had boards for us to write stuff on. And it was comedy. It was comedy to do it that way, and I'm sure some people watching had some fun laughing at our silliness as well.
Well, I think my favorite moment would be when we had Coach Brom on after a Purdue win. And, you know, it's funny because Harry Douglas, who was part of the show earlier this year, was working his tail off to get Coach on because he knows him. And so he gets him on, and we're here. And I've had this long-running argument with Harry Douglas, who tries to tell me he's 6'1". Now, if Harry's 6'1", that means I'm about 6 foot tall. I'm not. So I finally asked Coach, you know, hey, is Harry Douglas actually 6'1"? And Coach was kind of like, he wasn't when he played for us. And then after the show, Harry tried to convince me that he went through a growth spurt in his mid-20s. Definitely one of my favorite moments.
I'm 6'1", bro. I'm 6'1".
Yeah, sure. Now, obviously, Skubie and I sit here in front of the camera like a bunch of morons every week, but there are a ton of people that work behind the scenes. We want to make sure that they get some love, obviously, for the great work that they do. You just mentioned Madison, and I got to give Madison a shout out. She does such great work finding creative things for us to do every single week. Yes. She puts so much effort into this show. It is creative and fun because of everything she does. It takes all of these people on the screen have worked their tails off to make this show happen every week. I cannot say thank you enough. But we thought that the best way that we could say thanks for watching the wrap-up presented by Allstate is to show you some of our best moments. So for Skubie Mageza, I'm Jason Fitz. Here are some of the highlights from this season of the wrap-up. You know I love it when my worlds can collide, and that happens tonight. We always bring country artists on whenever we can. John King joining us, and we are joined now by Purdue head coach Jeff Brom.
We welcome in rapper and Clayton County native Waka Flocka Flynn.
Don't be a robot. Sometimes you have to make plays out there.
I'm just going to roll in honey and go play backyard football this week.
He said roll in honey. It's a party, it's a party,
hey.
It's a party.
Hey.
You still can't convince me it wasn't Lane Kiffin with that in his like drafts, and he was like, boop, boop, and then a social media person was like, nope. Bull. Rose Bowl.
Yes, here we go.
I'm 6'5.5", 270.
I mean, he going up top.
Yeah, throw the
Right?
jump ball.
He going up top. He mousing people.
I'm going to stop him, Coach. Say it one more time, Fitz.
I was wrong. I was wrong. Harry was right. We get to bring in some star power here, and you never know who's going to join us. This week, we are welcomed by Auburn alum, Bachelor finalist, and author Maddie Pruitt.
Touchdown?
Touchdown! Oh, here we go!
And the next thing I know, they're all ripping their shirts off, and I'm like, what is going on?
Now that I'm at this point, whether it doesn't matter where I am on the depth chart, that doesn't determine who Chase Griffin is.
The great MC Hammer. This has been the wrap-up presented by Allstate. He's Skubie Mageza. I'm Jason Fitz, or, if you prefer, he's MC Hammer, and I'm Fred.